In this video, I'm going to talk about the new album by Iggy Pop, released on January 6th, 2023 through Gold Tooth and Atlantic Records. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about who is Iggy Pop. I'll talk about the people who were involved in the album, and I'll talk about some of the songs, and I'll give a final score at the end. So if you don't know, Iggy Pop is considered the godfather of punk rock. He began back in 1967 with the band The Stooges. That was a band that was very ahead of their time. They were considered one of the first garage rock or punk rock bands. The album was produced by Andrew Watt, and he also plays various instruments and does backing vocals on many of the songs. We have Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, Chad Smith and Josh Klinghoffer from Red Hot Chili Peppers, Travis Barker from Blink-182, Avery and Christopher Cheney from Jane's Addiction, as well as Dave Navarro from both Jane's Addiction and the Chili Peppers, and Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters, who passed away last year. So let's talk about the songs. It opens up with Frenzy. It's a fast-paced, energetic punk rock song with distorted guitars, lots of brash lyrics. It gives you everything you would want in a punk rock song. Kind of has a lot of that, I don't give an F attitude, a thick bass sound, and the backing vocals, and just a good way to kick off the album. And it's also the first single. Strung Out Johnny sounds more like a new wave song from the 80s, kind of with a bass intro and keyboard rhythms. On this track, Iggy uses his lower crooning style in the vocals. I like the song because it brings back the sound of the early 80s. The keyboards are very bright and punchy. The guitars use mostly a clean tone with some distortion at times. And also reminds me of the type of song like Billy Idol would sing. And this song addresses the topic of addiction. New Atlantis sounds like a mixture of alternative rock from the 90s, something like Faith No More with that piano intro, but Iggy doing some crooning vocals. Iggy is also backed with some female singers, and he does a spoken word kind of thing in the verse. Modern Day Ripoff is a throwback to a sound from the late 60s Stooges with distorted guitars and fast piano playing. This one's a little more frenetic, has some more energy. Iggy has a little more energy in his voice, and it's very brash, it's crude, it's just a garage rock feel. Morning Show is more of a country rock song, but Iggy is singing in his crooning style. It moves at a slower pace, has some soft piano playing in the background, and has a very relaxing feel. Then they have a 1-minute interlude with Iggy doing some kind of commercial for a psychiatry or something like that. And neo-punk brings back garage rock. This one sounds like a punk rock song from the 70s. It has that old school style with lots of attitude and energy. This one is faster and angrier than some of the others, but it's a good song for fans of classic punk rock. All the Way Down brings back that classic Stooges sound, again with the rock guitars and piano playing, but he gives it an alternative rock twist, and you can hear some elements of 90s music. I like the guitar solo on this one, and the fuzzy guitar tone, and it's a cool throwback to the late 60s. Comments is more of a post-punk or a new wave song about social media and related things. Another one that reminded me of a Billy Idol song from the 80s. Just has those lyrics that reflects life as it is today. And the song has some cool bass lines as well. My Animus, another interlude with Iggy speaking over a soft, clean guitar melody. Kind of very strange. And then The Regency closes out the album. The song's almost 6 minutes long. And the album itself is about 36 minutes. Iggy does some crooning and it has some choir singers. Then it becomes a straightforward rock song with some very bright sounding guitars. Another song where Iggy drops lots of F-bombs in the chorus. It's just pretty cool. It's kind of funky, kind of has an 80s new wave feel, but not a bad album closer. So in conclusion, I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of impressive that this guy is 75 years old and he's still making music. I actually saw him live back in 2016. He opened for Metallica, and I guess he would have been in his late 60s back then, and he's still at that time. He's running around the stage, and this guy doesn't seem to be he's given up. His voice sounds very good. It doesn't sound processed. It sounds natural. I think he does some more of that crooning because maybe it's easier for him. But, this guy's a legend. He has an all-star cast, and kind of the same way that Ozzy Osbourne did with his last two albums, who were also produced by Andrew Watt. And being that he's older doesn't mean he's gone soft. He still has that punk rock attitude. I'm not familiar with Iggy's entire discography, but I know his Stooges albums a little bit more than the others. But I've read some reviews, and some are saying that this is some of his heaviest material in years. So for me, that's pretty cool. I know the album got mixed reviews, but I thought it was pretty good. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's something I might go back to in the next few months. Maybe it'll grow on me, but I enjoyed it. I'll probably give it a few more listens, see if I get into it a little more, but that's all. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this album, and I'll see you in the next review, which shouldn't be too long.